Thanks for being here. I was hoping you could be here. Oh, by the way, thank you for the article. That's a very helpful article. I read through it, and I'm going to talk about some of the points today. How you doing? You're welcome. I'm doing well. How are you? I'm glad you're doing well, Miss Venus. I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Got a day off, so I'm happy. Today is our first snow where I'm at, so it looks nice. As long as I'm inside, I'm happy. Hey, Clyde. Uh-oh, I lost my screen. Thank you. Happy Thursday to you too. How are you? Thanks for joining me. Oops, let me turn this up. Well, listen, I stay forgetting to monetize my video, child. Let me go check this out here. Clyde said, I'm well. Thank you for asking. I hope you and yours are well. Thank you, Clyde. We're doing good. We're doing pretty good. All right. Happy Thursday to everybody. Peace to the family. Hey, Shush Trish. I was listening to your video earlier. Smash it. How are you doing, love? Also, Shush Trish has a Coven show. I didn't get to see the one from this week, but I really like the energy and the vibe. Okay, so check out Shush Trish and her Coven show. Hey, Sister Crystal, thanks for being here. Yay, thanks for being here, guys. I know this is a weird time. So I was hoping that I would have a few people in the chat. So I'm happy. Hey, Nessa, how you doing? Thanks for being here. Shout out to my peeps. I'm happy you guys are here. So we are going to get into some things. Okay, as promised, I really wanted to talk about climate change, but I didn't want to rush through it in the last live. Actually, we just didn't even have enough time. Something had to be sacrificed. So I'm glad that you guys were willing to have a separate live for this. So we're going to get into it. Now, I am certainly not an expert. So please feel free to share your thoughts and feelings, your facts about climate change. I just did some basic info, and of course, I would think all of us are aware of climate change at this point. I kind of side eye people who don't, and of course, there's people who don't think it's real. I don't have no time or no play for those people. I'm just gonna keep it real. So, Clyde says, shush, child, you and Ricky need to make up. I hope they make up too. I haven't followed them a lot. Hey, shush, thank you for sharing. I haven't followed a lot of their stuff, but I know that they have pretty good chemistry. So I was sad to see that they're beefing. I think it'll blow over. I think it'll be fine. Hey, Chocolate Bay. Happy Thursday. So hopefully you guys make up. Hey, Pressure. Chocolate Bay saying hi to people in the chat. So yeah, I hope they make up. They're good peoples and have good chemistry. So I think it's a good thing. So, child, listen, it's so much going on. Y'all know I live in Canada. So the first year that I moved here, it was very cold. God, honestly, I was like, yo, what did I get myself into? No lie. I was like, yo, it's going to be over for me. I mean, people said it was cold, but I didn't think it would be that cold. I think when we drove here, I would never do that again, but we were moving, so we had to. We drove all the way from Pennsylvania. Of course, we stopped, right? And that was when I think, what is it, the polar vortex, what they call it? Remember when it was mad cold? I think it was like beginning of 2019, like places that never experienced crazy cold. It was like negative 20 in some places. So anyway, child, when I moved here that year, I found out that negative 20 was a regular occurrence for their winters. And I was like, oh shit. And I felt it. And it was actually, I think there was a day or two that got to like negative 30 something, maybe even negative 40. Canadians are tough. Okay. I have a newfound respect for them. That's just crazy. So but since I've been here, the last few winters have been very mild, which is not typical. So it makes me wonder about how climate change is affecting. I mean, it's affecting everybody. But I just want to say that Miss Venus said they say veganism will help prevent it. Not sure how true that is. You know, that's an excellent, excellent point, Miss Venus. I want to get into that, and if I forget, remind me because I've heard that as well. I have listed as one of the causes of climate change farming, but not farming like us growing gardens or homesteading, like big, big factory farming, because there's a lot of stuff that goes with that. So a lot of us might not even be aware of it because we're so disconnected from where our food comes from, right? So Clyde said, I like the cold. I don't like icy roads though. Facts, Clyde. I'm with you there, sis. That's for the birds, not the birds. Clyde. Oh my gosh. Miss Venus said you should do a video about your experience living in Philly. I have a family member looking to move there, but they kept hearing horror stories. Okay, I will, Miss Venus. So I actually really love Philly. I'll get into that. I was worried at first. Thankfully I didn't have any incidents, but there was an incident near where I live where, do y'all remember? Because it made national news. Her name was like was it Carlene? I can't remember, but it scared the shit out of me. And I bought my one of my good friends, he bought his wife and me mace because we lived together. We lived in a big house together. It was the four of us, and he bought us mace after that. He was like, oh hell no, because we took public transit a lot, even though we had cars. I hate driving in the city. So that shit scared me. She got snatched up off of the side of damn, what is that? I don't need Coulter. I think it was Coulter. Because we didn't live far from there. So it was very scary. So but other than that, I didn't have much issues. But I'll definitely do a video because I know Philly's getting worse. Class said your body will adjust. It happened when I moved to a colder area, then moved back to a warmer area. Now I look at locals in the warm area. Sissies. Clyde, you sound like my husband. Hey Houston Bread, how you doing, love? It's crazy. My husband used to stay talking shit for years. I'm like, well, you married a Jamaican. What you expect? And then when I moved here, I was like, oh, this is the reason why he's so annoying. Because his ass got that Canadian blood. Shit is crazy. But I've noticed it already because when I went back to the States last year? In February, it was 30 degrees and I had on like just a regular sweater. I didn't even need a coat. So I think you do definitely get acclimated, and it's definitely like, oh wow, like back in the day, this would have been a big deal. I'm doing good, Houston Bud. How are you, sis? So let's get into it, guys. Okay. So shout out to Miss Venus. She requested this topic, and she also had sent, hey AJ, how you doing? Did you get any snow yet? It's snowing here. She said she actually posted a link to an article that talked about, I believe it was 6 cities that are projected to be underwater, I think by 2030. And I actually found another article that had 4 additional cities or 3 additional cities that potentially could be underwater by 2030 because of climate change. So guys, it's real serious. So I want to read these cities, and then I want to get into some of the causes about climate change. Once again, this is a discussion, so it's definitely not a lecture. So feel free to jump in and share your points. Y'all know I like to read the comments, and since this is our only topic, I think I'll be able to read as many comments as possible. So in this list, there's 2 articles that I found. One was India Times, and actually that's the one that Miss Venus had referenced. And also there was an article from a website called timeout.com. So here are the 9 cities that are reported to be underwater by 2030 because of all the changes. Sister Crystal said, thank you for everyone liking the stream. Thanks, Sister Crystal. AJ said, no snow yet. Please, God. AJ. Oh, AJ, we had a drought this year. That's the only reason why I'm rooting for the snow. Okay, so Amsterdam was number one in the Netherlands. Basra, Iraq. I don't know much about Iraq, but New Orleans, that surprised me, but then it didn't because I was like, okay, I guess it's surrounded by a lot of water. Venice, Italy, that didn't surprise me because that's literally like a city on water. But a lot of these places, they are not new to flooding, right? So, they're going to have things in place. It's just that it's just going to keep getting worse and worse. Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam, Kolkata, India, Bangkok, Thailand, Georgetown, Guyana, which I'm pretty sure isn't Georgetown where the Jim Jones stuff happened, and Savannah, USA. So, that I think this was interesting because this was all over the world, right? It's very easy for us to think, oh, it's not going to affect me. I think that's kind of what makes us complicit sometimes, or maybe complacent, I should say, because we think it's never going to bother us. Sometimes we read about things and we think, oh, it's just these countries over here or this place. And, from this list, which I'm sure is not an exhaustive list, this is showing that a lot of parts of the world are being affected already by climate change, right? In some of if you've been in one place for a while, you should be able to see some of those changes already yourself, right? And I know for me, in different places I've lived, when I lived in Philly, and then I also lived in Phoenixville. There was just things I noticed over the years with the climate that changed. When I moved here, even here, a lot of people are saying, even though we've had a milder winters, it's not good. There's a lot of things. I actually got to see how it affected. So I like snow if I could be in my house and I don't have to go nowhere. I like to just look at it through the window. That's my relationship with snow. I definitely hate ice. But you kind of have to suck it up when you live in certain parts of Canada, right? Like you gotta get tough. And the thing is that we barely got any snow last year, and all of the local streams and shit were dried up. Okay, there was not any water flowing in the spring. Usually the spring, it's like rushing water from the melted snow. And we actually had a drought. We actually had water restrictions, okay, this year. And I think they just ended them maybe a month ago. They were worried that we'd have to ship water in, which is very expensive. So to me, that was also a sign of like, oh, shoot, like I've never lived someplace, not to my knowledge, that I had to worry about a drought, right? So that was basically because they didn't get enough precipitation. Okay. Also, it wasn't cold enough. Like it was not that cold. So a lot of the whatever like little liquid that's there, precipitation doesn't stick around long enough, right? And then that helps the ground to be moist in the spring. So farming is harder for people. It was really crazy. I was like, wow, like, I'm just selfish thinking about myself and not want to have to deal with the snow, but there's a lot of benefits to it depending on where you are. Miss Venus said, yes, named Jonestown. Yes, okay, that's what I thought. I was like, I thought that was like, oh, so Georgetown and Jonestown. Okay. Yes, in Guyana. Yeah, I was like, I remember that name. Very horrible story. So I wanted to talk about some of the personal things I've seen, and let's get into some of the causes of climate change, right? So overfishing is a big one. Um, that I would love to see if anybody in chat would love to drop down and write how they think overfishing contributes to that. I know that it throws off the ecosystem, but I'm really not sure 100% like how it affects climate change other than it messes with the food chain, like if they fish too much, right? Because one thing with I want to say the Western world, but I think it's just us as a planet in general. We do a lot of overconsumption, right? And so the fish, if we're overfishing certain populations of fish, it's going to affect them, and it's also going to affect other things that hunt the fish. Think about it, right? Bear hunt fish. And guys, I don't know if y'all ever seen, it's very devastating, even though I can't stand polar bears because they're just like a whole damn terror out here. Have y'all seen pictures of like emaciated polar bears? It's one of the saddest things. I've seen multiple pictures like that of different polar bears that are so skinny, and it's like their fur is hanging off of their backs. Like It's crazy. It's very scary and very sad. And just because a lot of their habitat is compromised. Like the ice caps are melting. There's just a lot of stuff that's going on. Hey, Tiffany. Tiffany, I'm behind on your videos. I got to catch up, sis. I saw that you had put out a couple things. Um, but yeah, like that's one of the most disturbing things I've seen. Listening while commuting. Okay, safe travels. And I was just like, oh shit, like how can people say climate change is not real? There's so many evidence of it. So overfishing. I know there's a lot of farm raised fish. I try not to buy that because of how it's raised and stuff, but I guess most of us we end up eating it anyway. And then wild caught fish is mad expensive. Do y'all see how side note, I've noticed the groceries are going up. Like I've noticed a lot of things going up. I don't know if you are peeping it, but I know there's a lot of shortages and stuff, but I don't know. But I've been noticed that fish was going up for a long, long, long time, way before the pandemic. And then I've noticed other basic things going up recently. So overfishing is a thing. Also, cutting down trees, so deforestation. This is a huge one. I actually get so angry. I don't know about you guys. I get infuriated. I get infuriated when I find out that they're like demolishing entire forest and shit. Or even when they take down trees for farmland. I just don't understand. Like the trees on Earth actually provide, I think, most of our oxygen. So if you're eliminating rainforest and just like forest in general, that is going to have a large impact on the planet and us as well. So one of the ways you can combat that is just by even planting trees, right? Like obviously we can't make up for a whole forest, but the deforestation is wreaking havoc on climate change and as it relates to the planet heating up and cooling down in the wrong places. I'm going to stop and read some comments first. Clyde said the lowest point on land in the United States can be found in Death Valley in California. Really? Oh my gosh. Clyde, I don't know how much you're into like metaphysical stuff, but there's this show that I've seen. I think it's called Mysteries of the National Park, and it talks a lot about Death Valley in California. There's like a lot of weird things that happen there, apparently. In addition to California, one other state has its lowest point below sea level. The lowest point in Louisiana lies in the city of New Orleans. Yes, that's one of the cities on the list. With an elevation of -8 feet, which is negative 2 meters below sea level. Oh wow! So that explains why they're so compromised. AJ said yes. Polar bears are starving. I know, it's so sad. And polar bears, listen, they can survive through a lot of stuff. I mean, first of all, they're crazy hunters. I mean, just like most bears, but polar bears are like apex predators, right? I mean, it's just crazy to me to see something that regal starving. It's so depressing. If you see pictures of it, it will make you sad, even if you're terrified of bears. Yeah, they're looking for food. They can't find it. AJ said lunch meat went from $6.99 to $12.99. I knew I wasn't crazy. Okay, let me tell y'all, this is mad random because I'm so random. Yesterday, I went to the grocery store because I knew it was going to snow. And I was like, oh, I'm going to get some rice cakes. And rice cakes doesn't even have that much nutrition. It's just something to do, right? So I was like, I'm gonna get some rice cakes. Do you know them damn rice cakes for $6.50? And I know that like that is a lot of money. Like it's never been that price. And I know meat goes up, but because we get a lot of meat, like meat is one of the things we try to get good sourcing of. So I try to ignore the prices because I want good sourcing of meat as much as possible. Same thing with eggs. So I might not notice the prices for that, but definitely for other things, I started noticing like, hold up, this was not this price last year. It was not. That is an insane hike from $7 to $13. That's ridiculous, AJ. That's ridiculous. The way people pollute the ocean upsets me. Me too, Miss Venus. People don't give a damn. And just pollution in general. Like I actually get like enraged when I see people throw garbage on the street. Like that shit irks my soul. That's enough for me to not be cool with somebody if I see you doing that. It's like there's just no excuse for it. There's no excuse for it at all. And a lot of that ends up in our water. It's just a mess and it hurts the animals. Sister Crystal said, true, there are a lot of food shortages and shortages of certain supplies right now. Yes. AJ said the Amazon is getting sold off as we speak. What? Listen. Oh, actually, I did know that. You're talking about Amazon, the rainforest. It's so depressing. It's so depressing. Hey, unapologetically curious. Thanks for being here. Me too. They tore down all the beautiful trees nearby me to make a 4-lane road. That is so depressing. We could have kept the 2 lanes because we're so like people are just so dumb. I'm like, I don't know if they just don't care or if they're just so greedy. It's like once you first of all, look at how long it takes trees to grow. Trees take so like with the exception of a few trees, they take forever to grow and to really get to a size, right? A certain size. So to me, I don't think it's a small thing cutting down a tree. I really don't. Especially, excuse me, for reasons of greed and I just don't understand. I really don't get that at all. I don't get why it makes me think people are either willfully ignorant or they're just greedy. I don't know what it is that they would be demolishing trees like that. Tiffany says certain folks have a vested interest in sowing doubts about climate change. They'd rather continue ruining the earth than stop engaging in F-ish. And she's right. Tiffany is speaking facts. She's speaking facts right now. And I think there's people that are too foolish to realize this, that they're just getting sold a lie. Like, yeah, oh, I'm sure ignorance is bliss if you want to believe it's not real. Like, I honestly, like, real seriously, guys, yeah, I know I welcome different opinions. I can't deal with people who don't think climate change is real. I don't even want to engage your ass because it's just like, wait, what universe are you living in? I don't even want to talk to you. Just go back to the chat rooms that you reside in, because when I hear people say stuff like that, that's dangerous. Do y'all know? Remember when we had those big mega shutdowns from COVID? I remember they were, I don't know what kind of mapping system they used, but there was some kind of mapping system they used that showed the reduction in pollution because a lot of people had to stay home. They couldn't drive as much. We just weren't out and about doing F-ish, right? Like Tiffany's saying. And there was a huge reduction in pollution. And I don't even know, I think they were even tracking the ozone layer. Huge changes. I think even the animals started to come back out in some places, they said, because our crazy evil asses, we just ruin stuff. And honestly, sometimes I'd be wondering, sometimes I'm like, I think Mother Nature is mad at us. And Mother Nature will listen, if we don't get it together, I really think we could get straight up eliminated off this planet. See, people think it's a joke. But I think that if we don't learn to take certain things seriously and take care of the earth, I think the earth will get rid of us. That's just me. That's just really what I think about it. I'm just being dead ass. I would love to hear what you think about that as well. I'm going to pause on comments and then I'm going to talk about another. Actually, no, this has to do with this topic. Clyde said less fishing vessels chasing few fish in the ocean will mean the fishing sector, which is credited with emitting at least 1% of global CO2 emissions, could cut its emissions by at least 50%. Okay, I'm going to leave this comment up here for a while. Shout out to Clyde because this is really informative. This is what I wanted to know. I wanted to know how overfishing, with the exception of ruining like the food chain, ruins climate change. So contributes to climate change. So she's saying that the fishing vessels are putting out a lot of emissions, and that is caught, which obviously we know that ruins like the ozone layer and stuff. So thank you so much for sharing that. I had no idea. I didn't even think about that because they're huge. I'm guessing they're just huge boats that take a lot of fuel, thereby contributing to mitigating climate change. This will turn benefit fish stocks and marine ecosystem. So they just need to cut back, you're saying, on how many vessels that they're using. Okay. Tiffany said flagrant pollution is a huge pet peeve of mine. Absolutely, me too. There's just no reason for it. Above info from Frontiers in Maine Society. Thank you, Clyde. Unapologetically curious says Tiffany J. So true. Why is climate change even a political issue? So sad. Money rules everything. It sure does. It sure does. Okay, so overfishing, cutting down trees. Okay, very sad. I told y'all, y'all know I'm a weirdo. And I actually started, I used to be afraid to do this, or I just never really paid attention. I actually started hugging trees when I go on my nature walks. I'll just find a tree and hug it. And I don't know, it's really cool. I think it's very healing. I think it's very, very healing. But, I just think trees are just powerful. Like they do so much for us, even things that we're not seeing. And I'm very grateful for the trees. Very, very grateful for the trees. So, thank a tree. You don't even have to hug it. Just send it good vibes. Like, thanks, tree. Thanks for being here. And I don't care if that people think that sounds crazy. I really, really think we've lost touch and connection with nature. And I think we're all connected, right? We just have to stop and pay attention. But just my little mega mini rant there. Okay, so another big one that contributes to climate change: generating power. So that is your electricity, coal, oil, gas. We know the wonderful fracking that's going on, just all kinds of shit. Um, so that is a huge one that contributes, and that's something we can actually help with. Well, on a micro level, just not turning off lights when we're not using them. Sometimes I even started unplugging, even though it's very small amounts of power. If I'm not using my cell phone charger, I try to unplug it, just so it's not left in the wall, just sitting there. Um, but I said, don't hug pine trees in spring and summer because they that's where the ticks and life cycle starts. Okay, thanks, Clyde. That is good to know. I cannot stand ticks. Okay, gross. Thank you, Chocolate Bay, for sharing. Oh God, this year, did you? I don't know. Everybody lives in different places. I didn't see a lot of ticks this year. I was like, usually in the spring, I'm like, oh God, here come these demons. What purposes? I don't even know if a tick has any positive purposes to the environment, but that's just my thought. Okay, so generating power is a huge one. And this is where it could be really cool to if you're, I mean, they can be pricey, but if you own your own place, you can get solar power, right? Where you're still on the grid, you could still be on, you could be off grid. I have friends who are off grid and all of their electricity comes from solar panels. And they have so there's direct power from the solar panel, and they also have batteries where they bank power. And yeah, like I have, actually no, I have two friends. They live on the same property where they have solar panels, and one of them lives in, like, they built a house, and the other one lives in a yurt. I'm not gonna lie, the yurt life ain't for me, but I really admire them because I'm like, wow, like you're completely off the grid. I don't remember. I think they have a well. I think they have a well and stuff, and that's where all their electricity comes from. It's crazy, guys. So, but you don't have to be that extreme. You can still have solar panels and, use some solar power and some electricity. Either way, it's saving, right? So that's really cool if you are in a place and you have the finances for that. I don't have no solar panels, but that sounds really cool. It sounds really, really cool. So other things that contribute to climate change: emissions from vehicles. So that is, any type of vehicle, minus like things that don't use fuels, like bikes, or using your legs, walking when you can. So walking could be really, obviously it's healthy for us and it's good for the earth. Personally, I really love taking public transit. It's still emissions, but I think if I'm one less person driving a car, when I was living in places where I could do that, I really enjoyed it. It also reduced my stress because I don't have to worry about, like, oh man, like traffic for work, living in a city is very, very stressful. So I love living in Philly because I would take the subway, I would take the bus. I just liked it. It was, you get to know, also you get to know the city, right? What else? There's something else. There's another form of transportation. I can't think of it that's there. But anyway, that can be helpful. Even though those are still causing issues, you're still helping by commuting because you're just one less car on the road, right? Uh, AJ said, yours looks so cool. I don't know if I could live in one, but I would love to stay in one. Me too. I would love to stay in one too, AJ. They are really cool. They are cool. And then some of the, what is it? The Mongolian yurts are gorgeous. They're so nice. There's some campsites. I've never rented one because they're always sold out. But you, instead of renting a cabin, you can rent a yurt. And they're like decked out. They have stoves and stuff in there. So I always wanted to do that, but we never booked early enough to get it. Has anybody has anybody ever stayed in a yurt? Me and AJ are like, yes. But yeah, I'm like you, AJ. I wouldn't want to live in one. I'm like, people are coming up with a lot of creative ways to save money and to also avoid mortgages, especially if you have land, right? If you have land and you have like building skills, you could build a small house or you can build a tiny house. or you can have a yurt. Like there's different things that people do. You just need to have some place to put it. Clyde said, if you harness solar power, do not sell excess back to the power company. Okay. Yes, I heard about this, that they buy it. That happened to some people in Texas and they were caught in the controlling blackouts too. What? That does not surprise me. So they needed it. And then whenever things, oh, shoot. Wow, that's good to know. Savior. The only thing is, I don't know how long. Do you know how long those power banks hold stuff? Like how long they retain the energy? I'm curious because my friend was telling me there's like you have to charge it a certain way, and then if you undercharge it, like it messes with it. It's a lot that goes to it, but I think could be really cool. And then my husband's uncle, he has he's actually very, very, I think he's very talented. So he refurbished a grain bin. Yes, a grain bin to make a cabin. And I actually watched it from like beginning to end. And now it's this pimped out grain bin that you could camp in, like on the hill, because they have a huge property. And I've actually stayed in there. It's actually really nice. And there's windows in it. Like it's there's a loft. Like it's really, really nice. Yeah, Clyde's on point. Clyde is on point. She's definitely dropping gems, Miss Mina. Shout out to Clyde. Yeah, but like I love to see how people are creative with different things that they can make into living spaces. Even if I mean that's not something you live in. The grain bin is just like a place that you would just stay or hang out overnight or something. Yeah, so this is on point right here. And that's so crazy because I was just talking to somebody. Oh, one of the friends who has the solar panels. And yeah, she was talking about like that's crazy that you can sell it back to the power company. I didn't even I wonder how they use it. See, that's I don't know. Anyway, let me stop because I'm going down a rabbit trail. Okay. So we talked about emissions from vehicles. That's simple ways that we can do that. Like I said, taking public transit, biking, walking, if you're able to. It's just not doable for everybody, right? It's not realistic for everyone. The next thing is manufacturing goods, aka overconsumption. So we make a lot of shit. Matter of fact, China makes a lot of our shit. And yeah, we're just super wasteful. And I don't know about you guys, I'm very dedicated to recycling. And I also compost. Where I live now, actually, it's part of the city. It's one of the services the city offers. So when I lived in Pennsylvania, we one of the places we lived, we had our own compost bin. Like there, it was like set up in the backyard, and we just did it ourselves. And then when we moved to a different area, we were on a farm then, so there was also compost there. And then when I moved in town, there was no compost, so I was sad. And I was like, damn, I got to put these like apple skins and well, not apple skins, but like orange skins and banana peels in the garbage. It's just painful. Like, oh man, you know. So compost is really cool because it's it just goes back to the earth. And if you are lucky enough to have a composting service, then then you don't have to worry about it. And so, if you don't have your own place where you can compost and stuff like that. So recycling also, I'm going to confess, I'm not as good with this. I'm trying to actually get things that have less packaging, because if I cannot take some of the crap home, then that's a whole nother step of just don't like try to look for things that are sustainably packaged. So like not a shit ton of plastic. I used to have produce bags. They were made of mesh and some type of fabric, and so they're breathable. I use those for produce, but ever since the pandemic, we weren't allowed to use them. We might be allowed to bring them now. I don't know. I stopped using them. They wouldn't allow them, which makes sense, right? You don't know how if people are clean, and they're bringing these bags to the grocery store. And we weren't allowed to use our cloth bags or our reusable bags for a while. Now we can, but you just have to bag yourself, which I don't care. I like bagging my stuff anyway, because nobody bags like I do. Nobody bags your stuff like you do. So let's read some of these. Okay. So Clyde said, solar is so interesting. Limitations are only based on the number of panels and storage banks. Yes. You can expand number of storage banks and number of panels. Usage and storage calculations are done before purchase. Oh, so that's something you have to figure out ahead of time, Clyde, is what you're saying, like when you're buying your panels. Okay. Nice. Kai, you're on it. Tiffany said, I'm literally filling the recycling bin now. Trash day while I listen. You know what, Tiffany? It's supposed to be, I think today is recycling day. No, today is compost day, but because it's a holiday, they're not coming. Oh, by the way, happy Veterans Day. Also, happy Remembrance Day to all the veterans. Thank you for your service. If we have any in the chat, or if we have anybody who as family members, I always forget that and I don't want to forget. So I wanted to say that. Class said they sell the compost barrels with turn handles that have a small footprint that can be stored in garage. Okay, yes. So that is a little different than what that sounds a little bit fancy. Hey, Zion Movements, that's a little fancier than what I know. I've only ever had like the stainless steel ones. I've had that. And then I also the one we have from the city is like plastic, and then you put your stuff in that. So that sounds very fancy. It sounds like it controls the smell really good. AJ said, I want to start indoor gardening for food. Yes, AJ, that is on point. I would like to grow all the ingredients for salad. That's excellent. That is excellent. I love that idea. I think more of us should grow our own food, especially if you're lucky enough to live in a place where you can grow stuff all year. Go for it. Go for it. You can grow stuff indoors anyway. Zion Movement says not all plastic materials are recyclable. And Zion, you're right. You're right. It's costing some cities more to sort out the non-recyclable. That's an excellent point. You're absolutely right. And I think basically, is it anything past number 2 or number 3 plastics? But it just gets harder and harder to recycle. So that's something to consider as well. One of the things I love about the company Seventh Generation, I don't know how the hell they did this, but I know they have detergent that is in a compostable container, and it's like liquid detergent. I don't know how they pulled that off, but I love that. I mean, I don't put it in my compost, but it's obviously going to break down. It's not going to be sitting somewhere for 500 years. I know some cities have also outlawed plastic bags, right? I don't know if that changed with the pandemic, but I know some cities have done that, which is really awesome because them damn plastic bags, child, even when you reuse them, which I do, I reuse them for trash cans, for small trash cans in my house. It's still, it goes in the trash eventually, right? Tiffany said, bringing your own shopping totes helps too. Yes, this is a great tip. Every little bit helps. They love seeing me whip out my wine tote at the wine and liquor store. Okay, that's how you know that is an eco warrior right there. Tiffany has a wine tote. It's been a long time since I've had one of those, but yes, she's on it and she's absolutely right. She's absolutely right. That I love that. I used to have a friend here. Well, actually, she's still my friend. It's just that I don't see her anymore because I don't live in the States. Her name is Jennifer, and I call her Eco Warrior Princess because Jennifer would literally, we'd be in the bathroom. One time I was washing my hands and I was being bad and I was having the water run a long time. And she was like, are you going to turn that off? Like, she's on it. She plays no games. She's like, are you going to recycle that? Like, she'll take stuff home to compost, like when we were at work. I loved it. She was dedicated. She did not play games. She actually paid because she lived in a deeper part of Philly. I think she lived in South Philly at the time, and there's no composting and stuff. So she would pay for a service to get her stuff composted. So she was on it. She didn't play games. Also, I also have utensils. It could be whatever actual whatever metal forks and knives, or you can just there's all types of stuff you can get to bring to work so that you don't have to use plastic. Minimize that. I try not to, even when I get takeout, if I'm bringing it home or to my office, I tell them, no, thank you. I don't need any silverware or whatever plasticware. I just try not to take it home because, again, everything helps. Sister Crystal said, I was looking up info on climate change and it says main cause of climate change is human activity. Facts on facts. No way around it. And again, this is why people try to pretend like it's not an issue. Tiffany said, Clyde coming through with the info on the facts. Absolutely. Zion Movement says, you got this. Yes. Sister Crystal said, yes, happy Veterans Day to all the veterans. Thank you so much for your service. Yes, I second that. Many compost barrels are reasonably priced. If you have a garden, unused areas of garden, dig a hole and deposit scraps area. Yes, the items will break down. And that's what we did at our first place in Philly. We actually had chickens. I don't even know if we were allowed to. We had 4 chickens and we were in Philly. The items will break down. I tried and it works. The worms love it. Yes. That's another good point too. So either the natural worms or some people do is it vermiculture? Vermicompost? Like they use worms. I can't handle it, honey. Listen, I could do a regular compost. The worms could do their magic, and I don't have to see them. But I can't do the vermiculture because that's people have worms that actually like it's in a container and you could see them and they're actually working through the compost. But I think if you do, I think it's vermiculture. You can only put specific things in there because the worms don't play that. But yes, I love what Clyde said. If you have that, you can just dig that. You can do that yourself very easily. Clyde said, I'm cooking and I'm jumping to comments. So if I haven't spoken to anyone, apologies. Hey, y'all, what you cooking, Clyde? What you making? Sister Crystal said, more and more grocery stores are eliminating plastic bags and encouraging customers to use reusable bags and are going back to paper bags. Hallelujah. Listen, finally, we got to do what we can. We have to do what we can. I'm here for it. So we talked about manufacturing goods, them damn factories, honey. I think, what is it? Also, just industrial systems in general, huge contribution to climate change, right? Because of all the stuff it releases, overconsumption and waste, just getting extra shit. Like, no lie, I avoid going to dollar stores as much as possible because whenever I go there, all I could think of, there's so much fucking plastic. Like, all I could think of is how much trash. There's good things there too, but I'm like, there's so much junk here. So I do go to the dollar store for select things, but um, there's certain places trigger me like, oh man, there's so much crap here. But yeah, like, buying things that last. Also, you know I used to just try to like focus on certain things and not, like, oh, this is cheap, I'll just get another one. Buying things that last, you might pay a little bit more money up front, but it's going to stick around, which means also you're contributing to less waste overall. So that's another way to think about it if you're able to invest the money. And sometimes it's not even that much money depending on what it is, right? Or getting things that have sustainable materials. Keep that in mind when you're shopping, not just for food and stuff, but your products, your beauty products. Even my cleaning, like I try to green my cleaning as much as possible. I really don't like chemicals. Sometimes you got to have a little bit of bleach around. I hate bleach, but I still have some. That's the only thing I think that has chemicals in it. I try to use natural as much as possible. It's just better for your bodies. It's better for the environment, and all that. So let's see if I missed anything here. Oh, yes. Okay. So power plants and factory farming. Okay. Factory farming is a big one. Them damn CAFOs. Okay. When they have the huge pig lots, all of that waste is just like, I can't even break down the science of it. I wish Jeff was here because what's a good, oh, damn, I can't remember the book. There's a really good book about it. It might be a Michael Pollan book. It's huge though. Is it Omnivore's Dilemma? It might be Omnivore's Dilemma. He breaks down the CAFO systems really well and how they impact our environment. And really, there's like farms. I love farms, but you really want to focus on the smaller farms. Big factory farming is ruining a lot of things because the overconsumption or obsession with large amounts of meat. If you have to really, it's crazy when you buy your meat from a farmer, it really puts things in perspective. For example, I love wings, right? I love chicken wings. And then when we started to raise chickens and like, well, I don't kill them. My husband and his uncle does, but I just like process them after the fact. And then I was processing the chickens a couple years ago, and I said, damn, there's only 2 wings on every chicken. How many wings am I eating? Like, it's just when you really think about it, when you're more connected to your food, it makes you think about like, damn, people, like, we really sit and eat mad wings, like how many chickens is this coming from? And it really put things in perspective for me about how we really overconsume things and how much it takes, right? Even like, I ain't hating because I love me some oxtail. Okay, I used to hate it when I was a kid, but I like it now. And oxtail is not only is it very pricey, but when we get oxtail from a cow farmer, there's a cow farmer in our area, and they have grass fed beef, and I would say we get it once every 3 months because there's one tail. Like if they're slaughtering a cow, there's one fucking tail. So there's rotation. We're on rotation for the tail, right? So if there's other people on the list, I don't know what these white folk doing with the tails, child, because there's a lot of white folks in this area. I'm like, what y'all doing with this oxtail? What y'all know about oxtails? I've been getting mad, like, really? What do you know about oxtail? My racist ass. I'm like, what are y'all doing with these oxtails? It's for me. I'm Jamaican. But apparently they know, they must make stuff with it. But it puts things in perspective when you have access to large amounts of things and you don't think about where it's coming from or how often you can get it. It's like, yo, there's one tail. Think about how many cows have to be killed when you can find certain things in large amounts at the store. So just putting things in perspective for you guys. But yeah, them damn factory farms, we already see, if you've seen any documentaries, you see how they coop them chickens together. Yes, it's expensive now. Listen, excuse me. I'm trying to think how much I pay for a pack of oxtails, and it's probably like £2 or something, which does make a good amount, right? But it's so expensive. You would never think it's so pricey because it's like, who's eating this? Like who? Like unless I'm living in a city. When I'm in a city, I get it. I'm like, okay, yep, people gonna tear up some oxtails. I'm like, who is tearing up oxtails in a rural town? I was mad. I was big mad. But anyway, it's mad pricey, AJ. It's crazy. It's crazy. Actually, we haven't actually come to think of it. We haven't had any in a while. I have to reach out to them and see. But yeah, guys, this is so let's talk about veganism. I had promised I would touch on this. Miss Venus had mentioned that earlier. She said that she's heard that. She's not fully convinced. Here's what I think. I think you don't have to be vegan. I think if we live a more plant-based life, meaning we're just more committed to eating larger amounts of fruits and vegetables, I think that is helping, right? Like that not only is it helping our bodies and our health, but it's helping the earth because we're not having large chunks of meat and things like that. So, or even just having a day a week where you eat no meat or something, or a dinner a week where you don't have meat. Like sometimes that's really good too. Especially if we're purchasing conventional meat and we're not getting it from a farmer, a local farmer. These are all things to think about. Kai said, making chicken veggie soup. Ooh, yum. All the cheaper cuts eaten by Black and brown people have become popular due to low prices. Demand has created higher prices. Wow. That's crazy. They catching on. Listen, it's so crazy. It's so crazy. Even like, I don't know if you got, I love chicken gizzards. I put them in my chicken soup sometimes. So I'll just like throw them in. They give the broth a really, really good flavor. Like I just was like, yo, this is man delicious. But anyway, listen to me again. Miss Venus said, I know you used to talk about PCOS. Which diet do you think is better for PCOS, a vegan diet or a keto diet? That is a really good question, Miss Venus. Yeah, so I might need to take the old videos off of my second channel that is like dead because I haven't uploaded anything and put them over here. So I've read a lot of things. This is what I think. Before I answer about each, I'm going to talk about each of those diets. The first thing is, I think everybody is different and you have to kind of figure out what works for your body. So some people thrive with a vegan diet and PCOS because they're not dealing with the hormones from the meat, especially conventional meat. It's full of a lot of things and it just helps them overall. And then I've heard a lot of people have a lot of success on keto. Not gonna lie, I thought about it. I said, oh no, I can't do it. It's like, I love that there's a lot of vegetables, but there's a lot of meat. And I love meat. Don't get me wrong, I love meat, but I can't have dairy. So to me, that's a huge thing right there. Like a lot of people in keto eat a lot of dairy. They're eating full fat cream and cheese. And I'm like, what the hell am I going to eat? Like, and I'm like, I don't know if I can do this. I'd rather just eat. I personally have seen good results from eating less carbs. So my naturopath had put me on something called the AIP diet, but it's very restrictive. And now I have like a modified version if I'm being good. But that had helped my symptoms a lot. AIP, autoimmune paleo. Some people also, I think paleo is healthier than keto personally. It's just not as crazy. But that's what I think. That's what I think, Miss Venus. about PCOS, but lots of people, lots of women report, um, they report like progress for both diets, but I hear probably keto being the most because especially if you have insulin resistance when you have PCOS, then keto is going to be good for you. Because if you go vegan, if you don't know how to balance your food, it's a lot of carbs, right? Like it's a lot of carbs, so it can actually make things worse. Zion Movement said, do you think they buying chicken back? They better not be buying no chicken back, Zion Movements. Listen, y'all better leave my chicken back alone. Chicken back makes some good soup, okay? Tiffany said it helps, but vegans need to be mindful while getting on their soapbox too. Facts. Their overconsumption drives up prices for working class communities who can no longer afford veggie staples. See, I never even thought about that. And she's right, especially depending on where you live. Now, remember, there's a lot of food deserts. So a lot of people might not even have, if depending on if you're in the deep, deep city, unless you can afford the expensive places like Whole Foods in some places, the access to vegetables is very limited in certain places. So that is an excellent point. Excellent point. Grow veggies, people, grow them. AJ said, my grand uses chicken gizzards, heart, and foot in her soups and stewed chicken. It tastes better. It's so good. People be missing out, AJ. Listen, everything you just listed, it tastes mad good in soup. It gives the soup such a rich flavor. Like I never forget. I'm like, man, like these gizzards. And one time I boiled them. My mom would be like, for shame. One time I boiled them. What was I doing? Oh, I was boiling them because I was going to fry them. I had found this recipe to fry them, but you have to, the gizzards take long to cook. So then I was going to pour off the water, and then I was like, this is broth. And then I just had only the gizzard broth, and I was like, this is delicious. So I started adding it to soups when I can, and it's so good. When I was a kid, my mom used to put it in chicken soup too, and I would be mad if there wasn't like enough gizzards in there because it's just a couple. But yeah, that sounds, chicken foot soup is good too. That's nice. Tiffany said, remember how they did with the quinoa? Girl. Yo, quinoa is mad expensive. It's all them damn hipsters. Quinoa is so pricey. I remember back in the day, I used to get some quinoa for cheap. Child, it's like $11.99 for a bag of quinoa. Am I the only one? Am I going crazy? Sister Crystal said, some studies show that going vegan would reduce greenhouse gas emissions per person by 3%. Yes, Sister Crystal. Excellent. I have also read that. And I do believe that because I think the demand for as much meat is reduced, right? That demand is lower, which again, remember we talked about factory farming, how much it contributes to the pollution because of the systems that they're using. If you're raising a couple animals, or you're even going to a local farm, nothing compares to that. I'm talking about huge factories that have I think I'm pretty sure when I say CAFO, it's like a pit of like animal feces. Just bad news bears. Like it's just gross and it's very bad for the environment. And that's just one of the things. Some people say, okay, yeah, don't mess with my chicken back. It's about to be war. Miss Venus said a friend of mine struggled to get pregnant, did keto for 4 months, and had her first child. Wow. She's on baby number 3. Listen, Miss Venus, it works wonders for a lot of people. I was just like, my ass is going to go crazy. I'm going to end up on the news. I just need some rice. All I need is a little bit of rice. And then when my doctor put me on the AIP diet, I couldn't have rice anyway for like 3 months. I was mad. Life was sad. That's wonderful, though. Isn't that crazy how like certain diets just dramatically change people's bodies? That's amazing. Quinoa is so good. I have to get back into it. I used to eat it as like a breakfast grain. Like I would make it like oatmeal, and then I would add like almonds and stuff on top. I need to do that again. It's good. How do you make your quinoa, Zion Movements? Tiffany said, when vegan hipster foodies colonize greens, suddenly the price of college child. See, Tiffany be on it. Okay, Tiffany is on it, and she's absolutely right. It has skyrocketed prices of basic things for people. She's absolutely spot on, and nobody cares. It's so crazy. I think it's wicked how expensive produce is and how inaccessible it is in certain places. That makes no sense to me at all. It's almost like they want people to have messed up diets. Like, how do you not have access to vegetables and fruits? That's crazy. It is so crazy. Sister Crystal said, great point about the rising cost of veggies. Yes, it's absolutely insane. And some people can't, like, because of how much it's skyrocketed. It's sad. It's very sad. Very, very sad. But I'm like, listen, vegetables, I know, like, vegetables and fruits, man. I don't know how people live their lives without them, because you can really tell. Like, whenever I'm not eating enough of that, man, my body suffers. Miss Venus said, I don't think black people should eat meat every day. I follow a pescatarian diet. Ooh, that's so good. That was one of my dreams, Miss Venus, was to be a pescatarian. Because I was like, I could do some fish. That is great. You know what? I was reading something. What did I read? Miss Venus is making good points. I read something, a couple things, and it was talking about our traditional diets, depending on what part of the, well, I don't want to say what part of the world, but what part of Africa, we come from. And it talks about different, like, foods and stuff that would be in our staple diets and what our bodies are probably typically used to. And there's a lot of really cool information on that. And it talks about, like, how some of the issues we have now is because we're eating stuff that, our body traditionally is not used to. So I just think that's very interesting. Sister Crystal said, I meant the rise of the cost of veggies. I thought that's what you said, Sister Crystal. My brain read it the way you meant it. Zion Movement says, I make mines like Caribbean rice. Ooh, that sounds delicious. Listen, it's so good. Okay, so you do, like, it's like instead of a rice and peas, it's like a rice and quinoa. That sounds so good. That sounds delicious, Nine Movements. I'm going to try that. Tiffany said, as Sister Crystal, she'll never find a healthy balance. Folks overconsume everything. And that's it. Y'all remember the superfood trend? I don't even use that word anymore. Acai, quinoa, kale, just like everything is a damn every now and then superfood. And it's like, yo, just eat shit in moderation and get as much, really, if we are in a place where we can do this. When you eat seasonally, you get actually a variety of nutrients. So if you eat according to the seasons as much as possible, because, child, I'm from the island, so I'm gonna have pineapple, even though there's no damn pineapple trees around here. Okay. But you get more of a range of nutrients throughout the year. And so the fact that they go crazy and, like, promote certain things that they want to sell is just ridiculous. It's so ridiculous. All of those things are good. Get a little bit of everything. So it's just, I don't know. It's just a scam. But I'm sure we've all been caught up in some type of superfood scam at some point or another. I remember goji berries was one time. Y'all remember? I'm pretty sure Dr. Ox is not. Is it Dr. Ox? What's his name? I can't remember. Y'all know who I'm talking about. But remember, he had that show and he would stay with the damn superfoods. I can't remember his name. Sister Krista said, I have read somewhere that eating more fruits and vegetables can boost your immune system. Yes, that is true. It can do a lot of things. I think lower your blood pressure. It's very good. It's very, very good. So, and it's like, if you eat those things enough and you move away from them, your body will let you know, like, girl, lay off the carbs, go get you some vegetables. Like, your body starts to crave that. So it's nice. And I like, we might all have our favorite vegetables and stuff, but yeah, I love these conversations with y'all. See, this feeds my soul so much. Y'all don't even know. I would rather have these conversations any day, because it's like we learn from each other. Any other tips on climate change? Any other thoughts? Tiffany says superfood is a hoax and buzzword to overcharge for produce, and she's right. And I'm not gonna lie, I can't think of which one I got, like, popped with, but I know I was a damn fool at one point, like, superfood, I'm gonna get a bunch of this. And it's like, no, you just need balance in your life. Eat greens. Who cares if it's lettuce, kale, spinach, collards? Eat some greens. You don't need no damn superfood. She's absolutely right. Tiffany said, I remember reading a really good article about the superfood scam. Yes, and that's how they get people. It's so ridiculous. And especially when they start marketing them as like powdered supplements and stuff, right? It's crazy. Miss Venus said, I love spinach. It's so versatile. Me too. I love me some spinach. I prefer it's like cooked or like lightly wilted. I will eat it raw sometimes in a salad, but I prefer lettuce for greens, for salad greens. Clay said, I've heard of that origin diet too. Yes. However, Black Americans are at a disadvantage. Our DNA is more diverse than most. So I have to eat like Africans, Europeans, Native Americans, and Mexican. Listen, come through with the knowledge, Claude. You're absolutely right. See, I think she's absolutely right. And here's why. So I think if you come from, for example, like growing up in I spent like the first 9 years of my life in Jamaica, right? And when I went back to Jamaica in 2014, I remember, it was a lot of starchy food, and I was worried because I have insulin resistance, and so I have to be careful how much, like, I'm not diabetic, but I can't eat too many carbs in one sitting, so I have to space them out. So I remember eating like yam, yellow yam, white yam, and whatever my aunt was making, and just like traditional foods, right? And I remember thinking like, oh shit, I'm gonna gain weight, and whatever, all this is gonna happen. Child, I actually pretty sure I lost weight. Like eating the actual foods from my country was crazy. Like it was crazy how my body was so here for it, and I actually ate less too throughout the day. So I didn't eat as often. It was just, I don't know, I learned a lot from doing that. But when you are, depending on where you are from and where your family's from, if you're scattered, or how many times your family or descendants have been in different places, Clyde's absolutely right. You have to be more versatile. The origin diet can be helpful as a start, but it may not be as realistic, and you may need to incorporate other things. So I really love what she said because it's very realistic. Sorry guys, I got to blow my nose. 1 second. I'm here though. Sorry about that. Anyway, so that's a great comment. Tiffany said, I'm finna eat some carbs in a few though. Listen, Tiffany, I love carbs. Make no mistakes. Oh, yes, I do, honey. That's why I said that damn AIP diet was from hell for 3 months. I couldn't have no alcohol. I couldn't have no damn rice or oatmeal. I was like, what the hell is going on? I was mad. So now I can have that, but listen, carbs are my friend. AJ said, I've been watching Black Forager on YouTube. Ooh, I'm writing this down. Sounds very good. She's a super funny and knowledgeable. She shows how anyone can forage for food around the area. I love that, AJ. Thank you for that recommendation. That sounds so amazing. I think we need to learn how to forage, child. You never know what's gonna pop off. Like, first of all, don't think you have to be in a warm area. Even where I live, I try to find out what kind of foods are around here that I can forage for. I bought this one book recently, like a couple months ago, because you just never know. You never know. And at least the indigenous people and Native Americans, that's one thing. A lot of them know that shit. Okay. They know how to live off the land. And I think we need to know more about that. So thank you for that, AJ. That is excellent. Miss Venus said, I think learning proper food combining will help a lot of Black people. So I agree, Miss Venus. I think we don't have a lot of, some of us don't have a lot of balance to our food. Excellent point. Clive said, raw spinach lining, ooh, soft tacos helps prevent ripping and taste so good. Ooh, I use chipped beet steak, black beans, tomato, and taco sauce. Listen, Clyde, I'm hungry now. That sounds so good. That sounds very good. Yes, thank you. So true. Clyde said, really good friend of mine said, eating for blood type is a bomb and work beautifully. Listen, I want to know my blood type. I don't know it. So that makes me mad. I will give it a go next year. I've always wanted to try that, but I don't know what my blood type is. So I need to get it together. Tiffany said, oh, thanks for the hat tip. Yes, I'm going to try that. I love, oh man, so good. Like any type of, like, I like black beans are my favorite. I really like beans and lentils. Red lentils are my favorite. I'm not a big fan of the, what is it? Not the brown lentils. Is it the brown lentils and the green lentils? They take too long to cook. They take forever. I was like, red lentils, I can make that real quick. Put some vegetables and some rice, and I'm good. But them other lentils take forever. But yes. So these are excellent tips, guys. These are so good, so good. I'm gonna make quinoa with beans. like Zion had mentioned, and then the raw spinach lining the soft tacos. Yum, 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 yum. Y'all making me hungry. AJ said, no problem. I think you all would enjoy her. Yes, thank you. I'm definitely, I wrote it down. I'm looking her up right after this. So, any other thoughts, guys? I think this was good. And climate change is so deep. Like, I think there's so much deeper study that can be done with climate change because there's so many pieces to it, right? Like, you can get real political with it. I wanted to just do super basic. Um, Class said Native Americans have food foraging classes. Check your local area. Yes, ma'am. I sure will, because that's a actually there's this one guy that I met through a friend, and he actually does do foraging, but I couldn't go. It was this summer. He did like a local foraging walk, and I was so bummed because it was the last one of the season and I couldn't go. I'm not checking for outdoor class during spring. Oh, height of tick season. Listen, Clyde be on it. She was like, "Ticks, you're not gonna get me." Them damn ticks! I'm telling you, straight from the gates of hell. I don't mess with ticks, child, because Lyme's disease, you got to be on top of it. And I don't like to use what is that chemical? DEET. Oh, you know what? I found out. Hey, Rose. I found out that I think it's rose geranium oil is a good tick prevention essential oil. I did it one year. I don't remember what else I mixed it with, but it's supposed to be good. Rose geranium. I can't talk. Rose geranium oil. So, because I didn't want to use DEET. Class hilarious. Hey, Rose. Hey, everyone. The pressure cooker, the queen of content. Oh, thanks, love. I got to get it together. Child, I have a friend. Oh, no. You know what, Clyde? My husband had a friend that did too, and it's very devastating because you could be very healthy and it can wreak havoc on your body, and it's so hard to treat. It's so hard. I was like, oh no, oh no. And then my husband, he does like veggie farming, and I'm always like, listen, he does check like at the end of the day, but it's scary. Lyme disease is scary. Thank you, Rose. Lyme disease is scary. When I hear about like how it affects people and wreaks havoc on your body, don't play around. Listen, them damn ticks. I don't know. I think it's because there wasn't enough moisture this year. We didn't get that much snow last year. So I think that might have been why there wasn't that many ticks. Because I said, where the hell? Zion Movement said tea tree oil is good as well. Okay. Thank you. Yeah, them damn ticks, I can't with them. Tiffany said it's really a multi-layered issue. So many things to unpack, like how climate change overwhelmingly affects communities of color, underserved hoods. Listen, Tiffany, that is an excellent topic. She's absolutely right. That there's so many pieces to it that you can talk about, and obviously, our community suffered the most with a lot of this shit. Just like the food deserts that we talked about, or talking about the price hike of things, because hipsters around here are talking about superfoods and shit, so we can't get no kale, and if we do get it, it's going to be like 50, 11.99. It's crazy. It's like that's a whole nother layer, and you're absolutely right. So thank you for saying that, Tiffany. Clyde said peppermint oil, tea tree sprayed will deter. Oh yeah, I have all of those. I love me some peppermint oil. I use straight up chemicals on my dogs though. Yeah, I can understand, because those poor things, like they get affected the most. I don't play that. I'm considering guinea fowl. Yes. Okay. So guinea fowl, child. So I think the first time I saw a guinea fowl was 2 years ago, and them things are ugly as hell. They're so ugly, and I was like, "What? What is this?" And my husband was like, "That's a guinea fowl," and they always are like, I think they live in pairs, so they're like the guinea fowls they were always together. It was them and their partner, and they were so cute. But the neighbors had them because they were eating the ticks. This was like a couple years ago, but then one of them died. It was sad. So it was just like sad and stuff. I think it still went around and did stuff, but the behaviors change. Child, but guinea fowls. I was just surprised. I was like, "Oh, is that a chicken?" And I was like, "That's the ugliest chicken I ever seen in my life." But them things they don't play. They get all them ticks. It's nice. So yes, guinea. See, look, Clyde is on it. Clyde is on it. Oh my gosh, guys, I absolutely enjoyed this topic. Okay, we may even have to do the layers like Tiffany had mentioned because it's just so much to it. I've learned so much from you guys from this, just hearing your tips as well. I said they are ruthless and will kill snakes. What? Guinea fowls kill snakes? Ooh, child. Gotta have them in a flock. They travel, survive in packs. Okay. Okay. Rose said, I hate them darn stink bugs. Ew, stink bugs are the worst. They're terrible. I can't stand them, Rose. Gross. Oh man, I gotta get it together, me and these bugs. But guys, guess what? Clyde, you're making soup. I'm about to make some soup too. I have some chicken defrosting, and then I'm gonna add some pumpkin and some other things. So, as always, thank you for being here. This is so great. Let me go. Yes, go. It's gonna scare you. The picture gonna scare you, Tiffany. I love y'all. Thank you so much for this. This was excellent, and I had so much fun. And if you have any other topic suggestions, I'm here for it because I love these topics. Once again, shout out to Miss Venus. She recommended this topic, and I'm really glad that we were able to give it the time that it needed. Sister Crystal said, very informative, fun live. Thank you, Sister Crystal. And Rose is saying hi to Clyde. They look like buzzards. I know, Tiffany. I told you, girl. I said, what? Great live, the pressure cooking and chatters. Thank you so much, Clyde. Thank you for dropping a lot of these gems. Thank you to everybody who contributed in the chat. You guys are amazing. I love y'all. I'm sending you good, positive vibes. Stay safe. Whatever you're making tonight, I'm sure it's yummy. And I'll see you guys soon. Here, let me play some music. I actually have time this time. So Jeff is out helping process pork at a local farmer. So I'm sure he's going to come home smelling great. Okay. Thank you, I'm apologetically curious. Thanks for being here, love. Thank you, AJ. You guys are the best. Y'all make my heart so happy. Shout out to Rose coming through. Everybody that was here. Let me go back. Sister Crystal holding it down. She's a sous chef. Zion Movements. Yes. Yes, 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 yes. Y'all are the best. This was like so fun. Thanks for being here with me, guys. I truly appreciate it. And I don't think I missed anybody. But if I did, shout out to you. Shout out to the people who dep on the replay. Shish, Trish, Nessa. Houston, Brad. Sister Crystal, when we start the next live, I want you to drop your channels, okay? So people can subscribe. So, yes. Bye, Tiffany. Friday is tomorrow. Hallelujah. Rose said, great topic is deal breakers in a relationship. Ooh, I'm writing that down. All right, Rose, thank you. I'm writing. It's good. Thank you, Tiffany. Thank you, Zion Movements. I hope y'all enjoy the rest of your day. Shout out to all the veterans. I'm scared to look up guinea fowls again. You're welcome, love. Yeah, I would say now, but if you want to, you can, but there's not that many people now. But I was thinking if you do it next time at the beginning and throughout, that would be good. Because I know you have other channels. Miss Venus said, have a great day, everyone. You too, Miss Venus. Thanks for dropping gems. And thanks for suggesting this topic. Oh, it's really snowing now. All right. Much love to you guys. Peace, fam.